Have you ever wondered what it's like to get kidnapped? It's not a good feeling. It happened years ago. I was only 12. It all started when I was walking home from school with my older sister Riley and my younger brother Ryder. I had a sickly feeling in my stomach, but I believed it was just hunger. But that day, me and my sister were fighting. I didn't want to walk with her, so I took a shortcut back to my house. My brother went with my sister, and I walked alone. About 5 minutes later, I walked into an empty alley and came across this frat guy with blonde hair and brown eyes. He came up to me and asked could I help him with his car. I knew I shouldn't talk to strangers, so I walked away without saying anything. I walked fast, but I didn't run. I was too scared to run. Suddenly, I could hear footsteps running towards me. I knew immediately something wasn't right. The guy grabbed me with his big, sweaty hands. I screamed, but he pressed a 10-inch knife against my throat. He said, "If you scream again, I'll kill you." I kept fighting to be free, and I dragged my feet. His patience was evaporated immediately, because as I dragged my feet, he picked me up with one hand and yanked my hair with the other. The pain was unbearable. I'm surprised my hair stayed inside my scalp. The hand that he picked me up with still had the knife in it. I was afraid to squirm. I knew the knife would hit me. Accidental or on purpose. He put me in the trunk of his car, and he held me down, with the knife still pressed against my throat. He said, "If you scream or make a noise, I'll kill you." I nodded in fear. He closed the trunk and started driving the car. I cried in fear. I wondered where I was going and what he was going to do to me. The ride was bumpy, and I banged my head numerous times. Eventually, after forever, the car stopped. Everything went completely silent, as if somebody had just pressed pause. It petrified me. The guy opened the trunk. He stared down at me and gave me an evil smirk. He grabbed me by my hair again and lifted me out of the car. My head already ached from the banging, and he just had to throb it by yanking my hair. He dragged me into a small house that looked like a shed, but it was a little bigger than a normal shed. He shoved me into the shed, and what we'll call it, and before locking the door, he said, "Not a peep." I sat in a corner with my head in my knees, praying to God that I'd be alright. I also prayed to apologize to my sister for fighting with her. I felt scared and hoped that I would be safe.